Welcome everybody back to Nine's Corner. So we had Super Tuesday, which was quite the big win for Biden. Uh, and, Sanders pulled his weight. He's not complete, he's just a few behind him. But Bloomberg did decide to bow out. And within 24 hours later, so did Miss Elizabeth Warren. So it's a two-man race. Um, I'd like to do a reading on Elizabeth Warren a little bit because she now has a little political capital that she is really milking. She has a plan. She has told us over and over she has a plan. Well, she has a plan. She's in a year of 5, and like we said before, and it's ups and downs. So she had a down, but now she's going to be having an up again. So for today's reading, I'm going to leave Biden Sanders for a little while. We'll read on their energies a little later. So I thought, let's have a look at Donald Trump because unless something happens and he has to walk away or he gets sick or, something like that, we're stuck with him until November, until the people of the U.S. decide who they'd like to keep in power. So I thought, let's have a look into Donald Trump. And before I did this, I decided to look into his numerology, and it was really interesting. Now, I haven't always disliked Donald Trump. My oldest son and I, when Donald Trump had the Apprentice show, we used to have our date night, and we would watch, Donald Trump and kind of see who we thought was going to be voted out. And for the most part, it was family friendly. So, and growing up in the 80s, he was just this socialite that happened to hit the news because he got married once, twice, thrice. And there was always, something, going on with him. So I decided to look into his numerology. And guys, out of the 5 main numbers, 4 of them were karmic numbers. So this means he had a karmic debt that he was supposed to pay off. And he was supposed to be like Bernie Sanders. He was supposed to be the big change that was going to come in and change everything up. He was destined to become the president of the United States. But at this point, he had the choice, the free will to live or to grow on the dark side or on the light side. That's why I always say, wishing you light for your darkness. It's not an unkindness. It's saying that we all go through dark times, whether that is we're living on the dark side of our energy or whether there's depression. I mean, there's situational things that happen. People go through, loss and things of that nature. So, you know, we all have the free will to decide which way we're going to go, but we all came with a blueprint of what we needed to accomplish. And in Donald Trump's blueprint, he was meant to be the change. And, his life path is a 4. So he lives on the dark side of 4. So it makes him narrow-minded. It makes him quite bossy. It makes him hostile to anybody who dare judge anything he says as wrong. And his expression number is a 5, and he has 2 5s. So that means he doubles down on anything, which we've seen. He doubles down. He can't help himself. It's in his chart to do so. So, he has no filter. He has 0 focus. And he's superficial. And I feel sad for him in a way because I really feel like he is a really lonely soul who does not know what true love is. And because of that, he's lived his life in frustration. And he owed the world to come into this world and live on the positive side of his numbers. He had the ability to really be a huge change in this world, but he decided not to. So we're going to look at how is Donald Trump going to be between now and the election? Just let's have a look into his energy, see You know, is there anything going to change? Let's just see. So, I hope you all had a good Super Tuesday, that nobody's too freaked out or anything. You know, we need somebody in that's going to um, at least challenge Donald Trump, because, you know, we'll see what's going to happen. So, at the base, we have the Queen of Cups. Oops, I don't know how to do this. I don't want to cover Spock. With the Queen of Cups, he is definitely, sorry, Spock, I'm going to have to do this. With the Queen of Cups, he is definitely looking to Russia and any other country for help. He can't do this alone. Um, and this is sort of like maybe his enemies, some of his opponents, um, you know, because there's clouds behind. So I would be wary if I were him. I think, you know, if you look at how the coronavirus has been rolled out in the US and how many people are just like, wow, they're so unprepared. Um, you know, if we're seeing it, then the bigwigs, the people that are in power in China and in Russia and in Germany and in you name it, they're seeing that. So it worries me that people are seeing the US as weak, as vulnerable right now. Not weak, vulnerable. And especially with all the misinformation that's being put out. And I mean, Donald Trump went and put Pence there. It's sort of like, you know, he puts people out and is like, okay, let Pence go out. And if he does well, then I'll take credit for it. And if he does bad, well, then I'll get rid of him and get a new VP. There's always, you know, a plan, or there's always something underneath. And, you know, he's trying to sell wares about the coronavirus and about, you know, the economy and about his abilities. And people are starting not to want to buy it. He's starting to get people to, they're starting to question him. I mean, they're still supporting him in the Republican Party, but they're questioning him. And at this time, um, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see, I mean, I know more information, but this is truly like, it's not going to stop. As bad as you think it's going to get worse. And the more he's boxed in, oh, the harder he's going to be. So, oops, let's keep the cards going. Crossing him, we have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups. So, he is worried that change is in the air. He is worried that he is not going to get another 4 years so he can cover up and keep making money. And he is going to have obstacle after obstacle, setback after setback. It is not that, I mean, any time that it was smooth, if you consider anything in the last 3+ years smooth, that's done for. He is going to have one obstacle after the other. Underneath it all, we have the Eight of Swords. He's boxed in. He's controlled by the Republican Party because they have more or less said, look, we've put you up to this point. You ain't going to screw with us now. He's boxed in by the thoughts of his own because he is so ego-driven. He is so selfish. He is so superficial that he doesn't care. He just wants to win, win, win. But I think he's getting burned out. And I'm sure that underneath it all, he would love to find a way out. On top of it all, we have the Ten of Cups. We have the Republican Party. They have supported him. They've walked the walk and they've talked the talk for this man. And they are putting the pressure on him. For sure. Leaving him is the Seven of Cups. So I think his options, whereas before he could go down any avenue and get away with anything, that's now come to an end. His options are going to, they're going to wane, and he's going to have to make some decisions because it's going to be forced upon him. So over the next 3 to 4 months, we have the moon. There's going to be imbalance. There's going to, the more he gets boxed in, the more crazier he's going to get, the more crazy things he's going to have to say, the more things they're going to have to try to cover up. It's going to be chaotic. And I think realistically, between now and the election, the U.S. is vulnerable. He has enemies. Anybody that has settled up with him, if it was Putin or anybody else, if they think that Trump is going to be out, they're going to do their part, and they're going to see that there's a chance to cause strife, not just through the election. I would be worried about terrorist attack. Just, it's a really hard time. And as the weather gets warmer, you're going to see more people going out, more people feeling emotional, because a lot of these cards are cups so far. People are going to get out and they're going to start fighting for what they believe in. They're going to start rallying, but there's so much discord. You're going to have, a number of fractions trying to go out at the one time. It's going to be a difficult time for Donald Trump between now and the election. He's not going to have a time of peace. Okay, at the base of it, he's the King of Cups. He sees himself as the king. He sees himself as the all-knowing, my opinion is the only opinion. He is the dark side of this. How people feel about him is the Three of Cups. I think that the momentum and the changes in the air, the energies have changed, and eventually, before the election, the Democratic Party are going to come together, and they're going to get support by not just Bloomberg and all the regular characters. The people are going to come out. The people are going to say what they want to say. The people are going to use their resources to help out. This is the community of the U.S., the people saying no, no more. This is the U.S. people saying we need to take care of each other. We can't trust anybody, but they're going to do what's best. There is a change in the air, and that's what Trump is worried about. His big fear is the Six of Pentacles. Guys, he's got money laundering everywhere. There is nothing that this man has done that has been honest. And he's scared to death that once he's out of power, and then all the people that he's put in power will be taken out, that they're going to be looking for the money. And he's not even aware of where everything has gone, because he has just said, more or less like what he tried to do with the Ukraine ambassador, just get rid of her. He doesn't care how it happens. He doesn't know how it happens. So that's even fearful. It makes him more fearful. Conclusion, Knight of Swords. So knights kind of come in and out of the situation. So this is completion. This is, I don't think he's going to win the election. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to find out before that, especially with this is going to be a lot of legal cases going across. There's going to be outrage, and people are going to be just, fed up. And at this point, he's still looking to Putin. He's still looking for help. At this point, once we get close to the election, he has no concern. He has no worry. He has nothing to lose. And there's going to be a lot of people after him. People he owes outside of the countries, Russia, and, all the different fractions, probably even China. And he's going to owe a debt to the American people, and it's going to start coming out. This is information, thoughts, people. This is action. So let's just clarify. Let's clarify the Knight of Swords to see. We have the Magician. So this is for sure him hoping that he can you know, he can just take another rabbit out of the hat. This is looking to manipulate. This is looking to Russia and Putin. He's so in his own little bubble. He really is. And he doesn't realize how much contempt, how much built up frustration is around him, and that's going to come to pass. It's once the weather gets warmer, people are going to come out. And it's scary because, at any time we should all be cautious, be aware of our surroundings, and I'm in no way trying to scare anybody, but Donald Trump is weakening democracy. He's weakening the U.S. and he's making it available for people to take advantage of. And that's not just the people within the U.S. This is his enemies and his hidden enemies. So people need to rise up. People need to make sure that all the blocks that are there to protect them. I mean, the coronavirus is one thing. I mean, it's a terrible thing. It's awful that people are dying from it. But, there's things that you can do. You wash your hands, you cleanse your areas. There's things that, you know, that we can do that we know already. And if he's taking the advantage of this situation, if he's going out and using his voice to put out misinformation, and he's put Pence out there who does not even believe in science. His face is so red. I think, if anybody's going to be scared of getting coronavirus, it would be Pence. And it's like from this point on, there's going to be a lot of upheaval. So for you, my friends, I think we all need to take a deep breath. Like I said, cut out a time for this and make sure that you don't let your own dis-ease inside of you get the better of you. So that's my reading on Donald Trump. I'm sure we'll do lots more between now and November. And coming up, I'm going to do rooting. Yes, why? That's my Newfoundland accent coming out. I'm going to do a reading on Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and see right now what the energies are telling us about who's going to win there. So with that, wishing you light for your darkness. Have a good evening.